Yeah, morning trades. After Friday's big moves that we saw resonated across asset class, people were looking at various models and saying that some of these risk assets are a little bit oversold and we're probably due a bit of a snapback. Whether it can last is obviously another thing. And we've kind of seen that. We've seen markets going into the weekend again, putting various hedges on. We haven't seen any kind of major new news to sink our teeth into. I think people are feeling a little bit more comfortable that some of the issues there can be contained. And we've just seen some of those hedges being rolled off on the day. Now, obviously, if we go across markets, we can start in Asia. Yesterday, we saw the ASX closing up 1.1%. That traded pretty well. Then the Nikkei closed up 1%. Probably would have liked a bit more to be convinced there. But, the market did close pretty close to the highs. And we saw some good gains coming through in the Hang Seng as well. So, yeah, we got some solace from what happened in Asian equity yesterday. If we go into Europe, we did see a bit of underperformance from the Italian MIB. That closed down about 0.6%. But Euro stocks traded firmer by 40 basis points. But it was the FTSE which got a lot of attention yesterday, closing up 1.6% to 8,023. That's broken out, that index. 91% of stocks were higher on the day. So obviously we took some solace from that. Also, if you go and have a look at S&P futures, we're trading firmer through most of European trade. We got into the open of the US equity cash market and we sort of rolled over a little bit down into 5,006. We found a bid. We saw a really strong one-way rally up into 5,076. That was a 1.4% rally. We saw a 1.8% rally in that situation in Nasdaq futures into 17,448. But then we just sort of rolled over a little bit into the close of the session there. So we did see S&P cash trading to a high of 5,038, and we just sort of rolled over a little bit and closed at 5,010. We did closed up 0.9%, and we'll take that into Asia today. 82% of stocks were higher. We sort of led higher by tech, financials, utilities, all did quite well. And materials were on the bottom of the pile there. We saw that market, that sub-index closing up 0.1%. But all sectors in the green and broad participation coming through. Now, of course, we all focused on what was happening in AI on the session, given what we saw from Friday. But ARM was up 6%. We saw NVIDIA up 4.4%. That traded up to 800, closed at 795. Micron was a bit firmer, up 2.2%. And there's a lot of focus on what's happening in Tesla. That traded between 144, 138, just settled at 142, down just over 3%. Now that's down. That stock is down 7 days in a row. It's the longest losing streak that we've ever seen. I think we've seen 4 other occasions where it's seen sort of 7 days in a row to the downside. But in each occasion there, it's all snapped back. Obviously, we're going to be watching that stock in the session ahead because we do have quarterly earnings coming through. The market's expecting some pretty punchy moves. We've got about 8% implied move there, priced by the options market. Obviously, something we are watching there as well. I think sentiment is very, very poor on that stock. So we'll see if that can snap back a little bit coming through. Now, of course, if we have a look at the rates market, I think part of the reason we have seen momentum stocks and high growth stocks under a bit of pressure is because of what we've been seeing in the backup in rates. But we did see 2-year treasuries trading above 5%. But we saw a bid coming through and we just settled down a couple of basis points at 498. Fairly flat moves across the back end of the curve. Real rates are pretty much unchanged on the trading session as well. So maybe a bit of relief playing through that we haven't seen much of a move coming through in the rates market. FX markets, well, the dollar's pretty flat on the day. We've seen euro dollar trade 106.71 down to 106.24. We've seen cable, which has been getting quite a bit of focus from clients as well, trading 123.92 down to the figure. We're sort of just trading mid-range of that at the moment. But the dollar's a bit mixed on the trading session. We've seen good gains coming through in the Brazilian real, the New Zealand dollar, Aussie dollar and CAD. They've been outperforming. But on the downside, you've got the MEX still finding some sellers and also the South African rand. So a bit of a mixed picture in the US dollar. A lot of the G10 pairs are sort of trading mid-range at the session we're seeing there as well. We've seen an unwind in some of the sort of geopolitical hedges. Gold's down 2.6%, so a pretty pronounced move there. We've seen a lot of clients trade that one from the short side. So obviously a better picture coming through from the client side. Silver's been heavily beaten up today, down to 5.1%. So a big unwind there. You got crude down 40 basis points and a bit of flow coming through in Bitcoin. That's trading firmer by about 2.6%. So getting off after the halving on a positive note. Now, as we look ahead, obviously all eyes on that Tesla results, see if we can see a better picture coming through, see if we can see a snapback there. But up other than that, it's going to be PMI days. We've got PMIs in Japan, Australia, Europe, UK, and also the US there. We'll see if we see some improvement and see how that impacts the risk picture as well. We'll see how that trades today.